Hey guys, what is going on? This is Wrestlelamia, back with another episode. The 2020 Elimination Chamber is over, but the fallout over the Intercontinental Championship will be talked about for some time, as Sami Zayn defeated Braun Strowman to win the title, albeit in a 3-on-1 handicap match. Join us now as Wrestlelamia looks at why Sami Zayn won the title, and equally important, why the monster among men lost. Why Sami won? 1. He's finally healed up. Sami Zayn was out for some time after injuring both his rotator cuffs, and the WWE has been protecting him by having him act as a manager rather than an in-ring performer. As it turns out, Zayn is remarkably good as a mouthpiece for wrestlers, providing interference in their matches and to help annoy fans with his promo. However, rumor has it that Zayn is 100%, which means it's time for the WWE to utilize his in-ring talents. There's no reason he can't serve as a manager as needed, but as we'll see, his managerial act has helped rebuild his character. Number 2. He's a classic Intercontinental Champion. Like Shinsuke Nakamura, Sami Zayn is the type of wrestler fans often associate with the Intercontinental Champion, a smaller-sized performer who can put on technical classics as well as bump like crazy for larger challengers. Zayn, a former NXT champion, was the right guy to win the belt, especially after a 5-year drought without a title belt. Wrestlemania isn't predicting how long Zayn's reign will last, but like the honky-tonk man, he's the vintage annoying heel that looks as if he's going to lose, yet finds a way to cheat his way to retaining the title. Zayn could shine in this role, and actually turn the championship into something more than a prop, as a means of getting heat with the audience and helping business. 3. Zayn has got himself over in the last few months. Despite not wrestling that much, Sami Zayn has done an astonishing job getting himself over as a much-hated manager. Zayn has channeled all the annoying qualities of WWE Hall of Famer Jimmy Mouth of the South Hart and put his own spin on his character. This helped to take fans' mind off the fact that it wasn't long ago that Zayn's in-ring career had turned into one big joke, with the talented star counting the lights night after night. Now the fans have someone to hate, and even more reason to hate him, because he's cheated his way into the Intercontinental Championship. The WWE would be foolish in not taking advantage of the heat Sami Zayn has, the good type of heat, and not the X-Pac go-away heat. Number 4. It sets up a number of possible matches and storylines. Sami Zayn's win sets up a number of possibilities and matches. The first thing that comes to mind is how Shinsuke Nakamura and CESARO will react to Zayn's unlikely win, especially since Nakamura held it before Strowman defeated him. Will the King of Strong Style have a falling out with Zayn, possibly turning babyface? Or might we see CESARO finally having enough of being Zayn's henchman, without having anything to show for it? Zayn could have outstanding matches with either man, and the WWE might even set things up for a triple threat match at Wrestlemania. Of course, there are several other SmackDown superstars who seem like they could be potential opponents for Zayn. Although the WWE seems to be leaning towards an Elias vs. Corbin program, there's also the possibility of Shorty G challenging for the title, with Elias competing for it down the road. Add in the upcoming Superstar shakeup, and there's no telling who Sami could find himself fighting. Number 5. It's a good way to shake things up. As fans know, the WWE has a tendency to be predictable, and many fans likely figured Braun Strowman was going to fight the odds and retain his Intercontinental Championship. After all, the monster among men just won the belt, and there's no way he would lose it right after winning it, right? The WWE shook things up with last night's win, and unlike the sorry scenario of Goldberg beating The Fiend after WWE spent nearly a year building him up, that's not the case with Strowman, who we'll talk about shortly. The WWE putting the belt on Zayn is also a reminder to backstage that even wrestlers with the seemingly poorest push can get back on track, which here, of course, depends on how the WWE handles Zayn from here. Zayn's win served a number of purposes, including being an example for the WWE locker room. 6. CESARO and Shinsuke needed a win. As big as the win was for Sami Zayn, last night's victory was also important for Shinsuke Nakamura and CESARO. While a 3-on-1 victory is not the stuff of legend, a loss by 3 wrestlers to 1 man, or should we say monster, is something that screams mid-card act. Despite his undeniable skills and a desire to succeed, CESARO's WWE career has been a disaster lately, and a loss against Strowman would have cemented him as a guy best left on main event. Tonight's win wasn't a push for Cesaro, but it wasn't another step down the ladder. Nakamura is much less damaged than Cesaro, but a loss would have hurt him also. 7. It's good for going into Wrestlemania. Conventional wisdom has it that there's more money to be made in babyfaces chasing a heel for a championship rather than vice versa. With WrestleMania now less than a month away, the WWE has another match it can use to build interest for its biggest event of the year. Considering how many technical wrestlers the WWE has for Zayn to wrestle, the promotion need not put Strowman up against Zayn. Instead, it should consider a ladder match at Mania between Sami and the array of stars he could have a show-stealing match with. Names like Cesaro, Shorty G, Elias, King Corbin, Apollo Crews, and more. Why Braun Strowman lost? 1. He no longer needs the belt. Braun Strowman's reputation as a choke artist who can't win singles gold finally ended with his Intercontinental Championship win. Fans could look at Strowman and see he's got potential. The problem with the Intercontinental Championship is that the only reason he needed it was to remove the stigma of never having won a singles championship. What about Strowman losing it so quickly though? As we'll see, there's a reason for this. 2. Braun is too powerful. Just as we noted, Sami Zayn is your classic Intercontinental Champion, Braun Strowman is not. Although the Intercontinental Championship has been put on big men such as the Ultimate Warrior, it's traditionally seen as a stepping stone to a World Championship. In Strowman's case, winning the belt was only necessary to add a singles title to his resume, not to push him up into the world title picture. That being said, Strowman's title reign served no purpose, as Strowman was too powerful an opponent for anyone to think he was going to lose other than in the circumstances that occurred at Elimination Chamber. Anyone powerful enough to challenge Strowman would be unlikely to want the Intercontinental Championship to begin with. The WWE avoided a tiresome scenario by taking the belt off Braun, as few fans like to see squash matches on a regular basis when it comes to a championship. 3. It shows Strowman isn't unbeatable. Tonight's match saw Braun Strowman lose in a way that protected him, but at the same time showed there are ways for him to lose. Yes, it took goading him into an incredibly unfair situation to have him lose, but in the end, Strowman counted the lights, putting an opponent over. No one should be seen as unbeatable, and while Strowman's defeats don't have to occur on a regular basis, unless the WWE wants to hurt his character as they did when he became Brock Lesnar's job guy 2 years ago, fans want to be able to watch a match and have a sense of suspense as to the outcome. The WWE did that last night by having Strowman lose. 4. Strowman may turn heel. If Roman Reigns wins the Universal Championship from Bill Goldberg, the WWE is going to need a good heel for Reigns to fight. A program against King Corbin seems out of the question after his long feud with him, which narrows the possible list of opponents. Although The Fiend seems like a good candidate, there's no telling when Reigns will square off against Bray Wyatt's alter ego. In the meantime, a heel Strowman presents an incredibly powerful opponent for Reigns, as well as any other babyface on SmackDown. Fans could even see The Fiend turn babyface, setting up an interesting program between Strowman and The Fiend. 5. It opens things up for a big match with Tyson Fury. With Sami Zayn possibly out of the way, the WWE now has Braun Strowman freed up to work a program with someone like Tyson Fury, who the WWE is definitely interested in bringing back, especially after Fury's recent boxing video. If Strowman does turn heel, it would make a Fury match even more interesting, and despite some critics' lament that there's no money in a rematch, Fury's count-out win does not rule out a rematch. The main reason for Strowman dropping the belt could end up being WWE's desire for a Fury vs. Strowman 2 event. 6. Strowman's a special attraction. While fans often think of special attractions as performers such as Brock Lesnar and Goldberg, two wrestlers who perform on a limited basis but who are seen as a big deal when they do, the same cannot be said about Strowman. Wrestling's monster among men is the type of superstar who is much different than his colleagues. Like The Undertaker in his early years, Strowman won a title to help get him over, but doesn't need it to continue being seen as a top guy. Like The Undertaker was, Strowman is a performer who can be put into one feud after another with an occasional detour for a championship pursuit. And, like The Undertaker, he should at least get one World Championship reign to recognize his importance. It's time for Strowman to move on to something bigger than holding on to a secondary title. Well guys, there you have it, 7 reasons why Sami Zayn won the Intercontinental Championship and 6 why Braun Strowman lost it. Were you surprised at his win? And what do you think of it? Be sure to leave your comments and don't forget to subscribe to our channel Follow us on Instagram and Twitter, and I'll see you next time for some more wrestling content.